This is a Tourette's patient with 41 different tics. He has eye squinting, head jerks, tossing of hair off of his face, facial grimaces, mouth opening, nose twitching, shoulder shrugs, arm extending, eye rolling, bilateral blinking, sniffing, grunting, yelling, screaming, throat clearing, coughing, and squeaking. He touches objects, touches people, smells his fingers, smells objects. He has jumping, skipping, and hopping tics, poking or jabbing, punching, kicking, flapping arms, twisting and twirling around. He tenses muscle groups uncontrollably, thrusting movements of the groin or torso, breathing tics, walking on toes, unusual changes in voice or pitch of voice. He makes animal-like sounds, stuttering, obscenities, socially taboo phrases. His MRI report stated that there was no TMJ disc displacement identified. There were no bone abnormalities. He had bilateral limitation in the TMJ range of motion. The clinical information that he provided was no previous orthodontic treatment, diagnosed with Tourette's at 5 years of age. I noticed his mandibular frenum, or center of his mandible, was 4 millimeters to the right of the maxillary frenum. Bilateral hearing loss. He had left retroorbital pain, vertigo and lightheadedness, loss of equilibrium, bilateral tinnitus, bilateral face pain, right TMJ clicking upon mouth opening, right TMJ clicking upon mandibular protrusion, which leads you to wonder why the MRI did not pick that up. He had left TMJ crepitus upon mouth opening and protrusion. He also had bilateral frontal and occipital headaches. Additional symptoms were that it was painful to chew food, difficulty swallowing, bilateral suboccipital pain, painful to turn his head either left or right, bilateral neck pain, stiff necks in the morning, cervical crepitus upon head movement, and bilateral shoulder pain. Okay. This is a 29-year-old patient that presents with 40 different tics. We are just starting him today. We have taken impressions for a mouthpiece, which we will deliver next week. We have just received his MRI report, which is totally negative for internal derangement. Okay, we're just going to let the camera run for a few minutes while we show some of these tics that this young man is suffering from. We've given him some tongue blades, and we're very hopeful because 3 to 4 tongue blades greatly diminish his tics. And that will be the height at which we begin construction of his intraoral orthotic. We're going to have it made over the weekend. This is the last day of the week that we're going to work. We're going to have it made and presented to him next week. Okay, here we have loaded up the occlusal surface of the appliance with soft acrylic, and we are going to take the sticks out of his mouth open and replace it with a soft acrylic. And just close on down. See, touch lightly. Okay. Open. We are removing this from the mouth. This is what it looks like. Notice how motionless he is when his mouth is wide open. And we're going to flatten it down to where these 4 impressions or imprints are, where these 4 imprints are on each side. are going to do is level off the occlusal or biting surfaces on both the right and left sides of this appliance. And we do it by using this lathe with its 3-inch wheel. And we hold the appliance against the side of the wheel like this until the center row of depressions of the lingual cusps of the maxillary teeth are almost gone. So we keep putting it against the side of the wheel until they just about fade away. Then we narrow this occlusal surface, leaving about 3 millimeters of acrylic to the inside of that line, and about 3 millimeters of acrylic to the outside of that line, that is to the outside of that center line. Like so. Then we get rid of any excess acrylic. We bevel the back about 45 degrees where the acrylic fits over the second molar. And we do the same on the opposite side. First we flatten the occlusal surface, so we just have this center line of representing the maxillary teeth, lingual cusp. We remove all the excess acrylic, except for about 3 millimeters of it. Then we go to the outside of the appliance. We level the back in the second molar area, 45 degrees. Okay, tell the viewing audience how you feel. You've had this in your mouth now 5 minutes by the clock.
Well, as I guess planned, the urges have dissipated. They're not as severe. Still getting an occasional urge to twitch, and those aren't even as prolonged as previous. So far, I definitely think it's working. As I said before, it's definitely doing what it's supposed to.
Put a number
the
on
urges. Yeah, like about 60% less urges, at least. I mean, for me, it's hardly noticeable anymore.
Okay, this is the end of the delivery appointment. After 5 minutes, his urges are down 60%, which is typical. That's what we've noticed in most of these young adult males. And once the urges go away, then the actual motor movements go away shortly thereafter. So we're highly encouraged. And I want you to pay particular attention to how you sleep tonight and the next night. I got it open. You notice I got these ledges here for your tongue. You keep your tip of your tongue up here like that. And that'll make you sleep better at night. Because it'll open up your throat. You'll breathe better. You get more oxygen. We delivered this gentleman's lower appliance 1 week ago. And he returned today to receive his upper appliance. We have put in his upper appliance a few minutes ago. We'll dismiss him now and see him in 3 weeks' time to see how he's coming along with both appliances in. We have adjusted the upper appliance that we delivered today to the lower appliance and rebalanced everything out. This young man has now had his appliances for a total of 3 weeks, and you can see the difference.
Over the last 3 weeks, I've noticed a great deal of a benefit from these devices. At times, up to 80% difference in the reduction of the ticking from Tourette's. I mean, as you've probably seen in the last videos, you know, my head, my arms, legs are going crazy. At this point now, it's not the case. Occasionally I do have, you know, tics, outbursts, but they're mainly limited to my neck. My arms and legs really don't twitch at all anymore. So I'm very grateful for this treatment. It's definitely done a lot for me.
Is this young boy's mother who's going to tell you the improvement in the last 3 weeks?
We have been so pleased and so blessed that Brian is seeing this kind of improvement. He can sit through a meal, he can read some now. He does not suffer from the headaches and shoulder aches that he used to. He can drive. I don't worry so much about him driving anymore, that he's going to have outbursts and run off the side of the road or something like that. I'm just very, very grateful for everything that Dr. Stack has been able to do for Brian, and I'm happy for Brian that his life is, since he was 5 years old and now he's 27, that things are looking very, very positive for him.